school and town can then reap the benefits that will be producing well-rounded adults ready for the future. The second concern I have is fairness of all students within the North Reading School District. It does not matter if you're a $30,000 a year family or a $3 million a year family. All our kids are equal in the school system and should be treated as such. When I read in the transcript several months ago that this year we have the safest and fairest bus routes, I needed to know what was going on at that time. It seems the people or person in charge of the buses need to ride those buses. I charged the school committee for not investigating this blatant unfairness. We need to have a school committee that will make decisions for the entire school and not sit back and let the superintendent make decisions and say it is fair and equal for all the community. I've always thought the superintendent worked for the school committee, not the other way around. The school committee, superintendent, business manager, down to the teachers must be held accountable for their decisions. We cannot allow micromanagement in the system. We have several extremely talented teachers in our system. We on the school committee must let them teach and mold our young kids into mature and respected adults, but must also hold them accountable for their actions. Those and other items is the reason I've decided to run for this school committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. To kind of follow on an issue you brought up with the busing, actually, and this is going to be hitting on two particular issues at the same time. User fees have been instituted at this point for busing, which has met with some reaction from different members of the public. But the question is, specifically to your issue of safety and whether or not the routes are there, should we in fact, maybe next year, instead of doing user fees at all, just cut busing altogether as both a budgetary issue and maybe even a fairness issue?
Well, I thought that busing was mandated by the state. So let's keep the buses, but they have to be fair. The reason I brought that up is we have an 1,800-foot road, 40-foot wide road with sidewalks on both sides going down McIntyre Drive. There are 3 bus stops on that. The other spot is the little girl that has to walk down a 20-foot wide road with no sidewalks from Cold Spring, I believe it's Park Street, or it may be Southwick, but it's a lot further than 1,800 foot with no sidewalks. Extremely dangerous. I don't believe the school committee took the time to ride these bus routes to make it right. That's the fairness of it. If we have it, fine. We need to have it fair for everybody. That's my main concern about fairness.
Okay. Just as a point, the state does mandate busing, but only in a specific instance, which is students K through 6.
Correct.
K through 5, actually, who are with outside 2 miles of the schools. So I guess you answered the fairness. Let me come back and ask you, okay, it's now next year, and we're looking at budget issues in some way, shape, or form. User fees may or may not have been successful. We won't know. Would you consider, or do you see cutting busing to that minimum, that state minimum, something that might be necessary?
I would consider bringing the busing right down to the state required minimum.
Okay.
If in fact we needed to.
All right, thank you. Amy, you have an email question?
Okay. If you're elected to school committee and on May 8th, the town fails to pass either the Batchelder renovation or a new school at Swan Pond, what would you propose the school committee do to deal with the immediate need for additional space within the school system? And what do you propose their plan should be in working long term?
Deception is a very key word in my running on this platform. Is there a need for the space crisis? I mean, we're living just a beautiful life now. You got 16, 17, 18 kids into a room. Could it go up to 22 kids to a room? I'm sure it could. Is there empty space in the other schools? Have we looked at redistricting district keen, oh, I can't even spell that word. There are other ways to go about it. To get right down to it, am I in favor of the Swan Pond School? I am in favor of a school. I would rather see the people in this town build a high school of high tech, the way it should have been like 10 years ago, and renovate the high school to the middle school and so on. That would eliminate so many thousands of dollars by eliminating the other two schools. You could eliminate two of the elementary schools, such as the Bachelor, and then whichever one the town decided, the little school, the hood school, whichever one hasn't had the most money dumped into it yet. In that case, you just relieve 2 principals, 2 vice principals, 4 secretaries. You could hire 12 new teachers at no cost. I am in favor of a new high school, definitely not a new elementary school. So that would it cause a space? Have people looked at going to other school districts where they now have built new schools? They have modular schools sitting there, modular rooms. You can pick them up for next to nothing. I don't understand why everything has to be purchased new. That would be a big factor in my part. Modular rooms are utilized throughout the United States right now. I don't know what makes us any different not to have them.
Did you?
I just wanted to follow up on, do you think if the town was unwilling to support a elementary school at a price tag after reimbursement for under 10 million, that they would be willing to pass a high school where, if you look at the average cost of high schools, are upwards of $60, $70, $120 million if you look at the different price tags around the state?
The keyword deception again. I believe anything is possible in this town if the taxpayers are not deceived. If everyone knows that yes, it's time for a new school, and I believe they aren't knowing it, but they have been deceived so long, for so many years, that I think the taxpayers are tired of it. They don't know what to believe. My opinion, I think you could get a new high school. I really do feel that this town could get a new high school. The taxpayers vote on it. I believe it'll go through. But for some reason in the last several years, everything has just been going down to the lower level of education. You know, like I said, I applaud the superintendent and the principal at that high school for doing what they did with these kids to have so many go to college. Is there a reason for that? Well, that's where it should be. The high tech needs to be in that high school. You can take 5- and 6-year-old kids, now maybe I'm saying this wrong, but you can put them in this room right here and they could learn. The teachers in the elementary school are very good. They're very experienced. They can teach these kids anything. Do they need the high-tech computers and all this? They're nice to have, but they definitely need them in high school. I think it would pass, for your question.
I'll speak as a parent of a child who's in a kindergarten class of 23 children in the Batchelder. I'm not deceived. I think that overcrowding is a real issue when you've got 40% of the population in the most fractured, oldest building in the town. So, are you saying that are you disputing that overcrowding exists at the Batchelder School, or?
No, I am not disputing that, but I am disputing the system-wide school. I don't believe that all those kindergarten classes are 23. I haven't been to each one to see it. There may be overcrowding in the bachelor school. Let's redistrict and put them in another school.
So you would be a proponent of redistricting
Yes.
as a solution?
Yes.
And again, just as a clarification, I think, because the number 17 has been brought up, you brought it up, it's been brought up in some letters to the editors and some other things. You're right, there are other schools, not the batch, other schools that have lower class sizes, but I believe that as part of the budget negotiations that happened, they have basically redistricted, if you want to say that, they collapsed rooms so that may not be the case anymore, that there are 7 changes to it. And so going forward, just as space needs come about, the high school is an interesting idea. Question?
Thank you, Todd. Laura McMullen for Baldwin Lane. Just as a follow-up, I'd like to add, as long as we're talking about space needs, I have a first grader at the little school, and there are 24 children in his class. But my question, Mr. Wiese, would be, I've thought about this a lot myself. Where would we build a high school? I don't know where in town we have a large enough piece of property on which to build a high school.
It's an amazing point. The Ipswich River Park belongs to the town of North Reading. The parking lots are made, the fields are made. There's about 5 acres right next to it. You put up a high school, you save a lot of money on parking lots and fields. Now you say, well, that belongs to the people for recreation purposes. You let the people still use it. You have walking trails.
Just to follow up on that, I believe that the state loaned us a significant amount of money and granted us a significant amount of money in order to bring Ipswich River Park to town. And I don't know if we would have the legal right to use it as anything but a park.
But has it been looked into?
It has not. Thank you.
Any other questions from the floor at this time? Okay. A question that I have is that there's an elephant in the room in this case. So the question of the lawsuit that is pending or exists against the town that I believe you brought. I was wondering if you could either refresh or enlighten those who may or may not know about that.
Last year, my son was a sophomore. His freshman year, he failed several English classes. No, his sophomore year, he failed several English classes. And he was told by the school if he went to North Shore Community College and passed with a C or better that he would be allowed to play. That's how it all came about. The school committee, in turn, after the athletic director denied it, the principal denied it, the superintendent says we have policies. I went to the school committee. The school committee says, well, it's under a lawsuit. We're not going to talk to you. This whole thing could have been solved by policies or a meeting with the school committee. This, in fact, caused a great hardship on more my son than myself. I'm getting back to my opening statements when I said we take care of the 5%. He did everything that was asked from him so that he could play football. And the school committee turned and they said, well, we have here, this quote was from the superintendent of North Reading High School, or North Reading School District. We have insurance, we don't need to worry about it. That sticks to me today like nothing. Is it a case for me to decide to run for school committee? No, I'm just, as a taxpayer and a resident of North Reading, I'm tired of the deception that goes on within the school committee, within the school. So the case is pending. It's a big dollar item. We won't say how much. It all could have been solved by a decision of a majority vote of the school board. They say we have policies. Policies are guidelines. If someone has a problem that can take care of a child to keep him in school, to keep him interested in school, then there are ways that we can change it on a case-by-case basis. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's just that, yes, it is ongoing.
I guess my follow-up to that would be, because we've had instances in the past of elected officials dealing with suits of some kind against the town, if you're elected, the suit's still pending at this point, and you become a member of the school committee, are you still planning to proceed with that legal action?
I will abstain from